fasting. So now have sexual relations with them and seek that which Allah has ordained for you, offspring, and eat and drink until the white light of dawn appears to you distinct from the black darkness of night. Then complete your fast till the nightfall. 6 matters break the fast. 1 and 2. Intentionally eating or drinking. If a person forgetfully eats or drinks, then he does not have to make up the fast, nor is there any expiation in his case. The Prophet said, whoever forgets while he is fasting and eats or drinks something should complete his fast, for it was Allah who fed him or gave him to drink. Vomiting intentionally. If a person is overcome by nausea and vomits, then he does not have to make up the fast, nor is there any expiation in his case. That the Prophet said, one who is overcome and vomits does not make up the day. One who intentionally makes himself vomit must make up the day. 4 and 5. Menstruation and postpartum bleeding. Even if these occur at the last moment before sundown, they break the fast according to the consensus of the scholars. Sexual intercourse. The one who commits this act must perform the expiation that is described in the following hadith. While we were sitting with the Prophet, a man came and said, O Messenger of Allah, I have been destroyed. He asked him, what has happened to you? He replied, I had intercourse with my wife while I was fasting. The Messenger of Allah told him, do you have a slave that you can free? He replied, no. He then said, can you fast 2 months consecutively? He replied, no. The Messenger of Allah then asked him, can you feed 60 poor people? He replied, no. The Prophet then kept silent when a big basket full of dates was brought to him. He said, where is the questioner? The man replied, it is I. The Messenger of Allah told him, take these dates and give them in charity. The man said to someone poorer than I, O Messenger of Allah, by Allah, there is no family between Medina's mountains poorer than I. The Prophet laughed to such an extent that his premalars could be seen. He then said, feed your family with it. The etiquette of fasting. It is recommended for the fasting person to abide by the following acts. Pre-dawn meal. And the Messenger of Allah said, have a pre-dawn meal, for there is blessing in the pre-dawn meal. This pre-dawn meal can be fulfilled simply by a sip of water. Abdullah ibn Amr narrated that the Messenger of Allah said, have a pre-dawn meal, even if it just be a sip of water. It is also recommended to delay the eating of the pre-dawn meal. Said the Prophet had a pre-dawn meal, and then he went to the prayer. Anas, asked him, what was the time between the call to prayer and the pre-dawn meal? He replied, about the time it takes to read 50 verses. If the person hears the call to prayer while his food or drink is already in his hand, he can eat or drink. Narrated that the Messenger of Allah said, if one of you hears the call to prayer while his cup is in his hand, he should not put it down until he has satisfied his need from it, refraining from vain speech, foul language, and other acts. that do not befit the fast. That the Prophet said, if it is a day in which one of you is fasting, he should avoid sexual relations and quarreling. If anyone wants to pick a fight with him, he should say, I am fasting. He also narrated that the Messenger of Allah said, for whoever does not give up false speech and acting by it, Allah has no need for him to leave his food and drink. Generosity and studying the Quran. The Prophet was the most generous of the people in doing well. He was most generous during Ramadan, when he would meet with the angel Gabriel. Gabriel would meet with him every night during Ramadan until the month finished. The Prophet would recite the Quran with him. When he would meet Gabriel, he was more generous in doing good than a beneficial fast with hastening in breaking the fast. That the Messenger of Allah said the people will continue to be in a state of goodness as long as they hasten in breaking the fast. Breaking the fast with what is mentioned in the hadith, if it is easy to do so. The Prophet would break his fast with ripe dates before praying. If not ripe dates, he would break his fast with dried dates. If that were not available, he would drink some water, making the supplication slated in the following hadith. Upon breaking one's fast, that the Messenger of Allah would say the following upon breaking his fast. The thirst has gone, the veins have become moist, and the reward is combined, Allah willing.